Self with me, Ruby at least. And I know that on this journey self, we have shared some information on where we are at with introducing ourselves in our seasons. Our education in season with South 2020, growing up in Chicago, Bontebok Street, number 23, many years ago. I know that during those years we were required a lot in our seasons, right? And today, and in with a generation that there's so much required of us to do, we have the responsibility to owe it to ourselves, to allow ourselves into everything us in our seasons, right? I know that so many times the seasons are different, and our requirement, the requirement to sometimes abide to that, that is someone else's, of allowing ourselves into the room, right? Allowing ourselves into that, that is how do you listen to you? How do you into yourself through seasons, right? And with Self 2024, I really started the education journey from my AWOKH page and from motivations that I've shared in 2023 and that I've said in the year 2022 with our AWOKH listeners. And we have learned that on our YouTube pages, everyone seems to enter the room and invite them in to listening into the education that I find myself at in season. And therefore, our presentation of self is exactly how Arabia Elise introduces myself, introduces where I find myself at in my career, and introducing where I find myself at in business itself. And remember growing up in being born in Chicago, right, on the 22nd of November 1983, and growing up in those years to me has been the exposure that I required on my life journey, right? I've been exposed to a lot in the community itself. The community those years had gangsterism, and I remember how my brother had to leave school, and I've mentioned throughout the video, and how they were required to assist in the household, right? And how challenging it has been for them those years. And I remember the responsibility that we've learned we owe ourselves. I've learned that later after we grew up into Chicago, we moved to a different community, and we then had the opportunity to grow up in a different area in Cape Town, in Kels River. And I remember the requirement for us to listen to how do our family feel with where we are at in our seasons. How is it that us as a family respond to our seasons, right? How is it that we allow ourselves to present and to represent ourselves in our seasons? And therefore, I want the listeners that listens to our education of self and the journey that I educate on to listen to everything you in the season, and to listen to that that is you allowing yourself to present in your season, right? And therefore, everyone that has been in the room, say in the room, I always say, and for those people that are new in the room, Rabia Elise welcomes everyone into that environment. And for those people that really have to still allow themselves to listen to our journey, allow yourself the time to listen to yourself, to how you feel about our educations, and then therefore decide on whether you would want to allow yourself into our journey and social media with me, Rabia Elise. And so we're going to discuss the different atmospheres that we have to allow ourselves to listen to ourselves in our seasons. And with relating our journey, our decent one is the introduction of our self season. And when we prepare the second edition, the third edition of that, and the fourth edition of that, we want everyone to feel welcome and giving their opinion if they want to feel one welcome and sharing on the journey that we share on our social media pages with our listeners and with other followers, and to therefore allow themselves into the journey that is you about your seasons, the journey that are you at your seasons, and the journey that requires you to give yourself recognition in your seasons. And that is where we are at with our introduction, everyone. Hope everyone enjoys the sharing of the video and enjoys the video that we prepare. And I hope that next year we will get to the second phase of South 2025, that we would want to allow everyone into our 40th journey that we are at, right? And next year we will be 41. This year we call it the 40 room. And so we're going to discuss a lot on the 40 room, on edition 2 and edition 3. And we want listeners to really listen to what we are preparing with South 2024. Edition 2 and edition 3 is going to focus, and edition 4 is going to focus a little bit more in detail onto what we want to educate in season and where we want to educate and in season. And therefore, with our edition 1, everyone, be welcome with me, Rabia Elise.